Thank you for joining us today for the AIME Women's Mortgage Network's Growth Series. This series is here for you to educate, inspire, and share your progress as we lift each other up to new levels. I am so excited for today's show because we have the pleasure of speaking with 4 broker owners who are going to share with us why they decided to become a broker owner, how they built a successful brokerage, and some advice to guide you past a few potential pitfalls. So let's meet our panelists. We have the amazing Barb Multari, the broker owner of Pathway Mortgage Group. We have the terrific Elena Boland, the broker owner of Wholesale Mortgage Services. We have the incredible Angie Kelson, who is the broker owner of Moapa Valley Mortgage, and the great Tashara Turpin, who is the broker owner of Infinity Home Loans Group. First off, ladies, thank you so much for being with us today, and we look forward to hearing your insights. Okay, Angie, you're first up. Tell us, why did you decide to become a broker owner?
With the old brokerage I was with, we had lots of problems with processors and things falling through the cracks. And there was also a lot of gaps in the options I was able to offer my clients. I live in a very rural area, about 45 miles outside of Las Vegas. And so we have some pretty unique properties, a lot of manufactured homes, and the USDA program is utilized a lot. There were just so many programs or different options that I couldn't offer these clients, and I felt that need needed to be met. And so by opening my own brokerage, I was able to create the processor I wanted, train the processor I wanted, and find the loan programs that fit for my local home buyers. And I was more interested in making sure that the needs of my local clientele were met. The needs in Vegas, those are met by the thousands of brokers that are already in Vegas. But the needs of the small rural areas in Nevada, those are what was challenging, and their needs weren't being met. And so I saw that need, and when I opened my brokerage, I made sure that I was able to fill those niches.
Well, I love that because you thought to yourself, listen, I have my local community that I am here to serve, and I'm unable to serve because I can't offer all of these unique products and programs to them and be able to effectively and efficiently also process their loan. So that was the other piece of it. Okay, love it. Elena, what was that pivotal moment, right? I understand you jumped in. What was it? Because although, yes, there was something missing, but what pivoted you to say, I'm doing it on my own? I want to have my own.
A lot of it came from the former stigma that used to be around being a broker. When I saw how deeply embedded that was in the lending community, it almost became personal for me because I knew better. I knew that the broker side of lending was better for the client in many ways that Angie discussed, because frankly, we have so much more power to help pivot for a client and for their specific personal needs and lean in whenever we need to, that it just made me realize that, the variety needs to be there. And in my particular local market, the broker was almost nil. There was none. I think we had 3 in total in all of Northern Nevada. And I just wanted to help grow that and, at the same time, support the other brokers in our community. And I'm finally seeing a couple new ones come up and bring themselves into the game. And I make sure to check in with them and see that they have the support too, because frankly, it should be a personal, mission of all of ours to educate the consumers and the realtors on why brokers are okay to work with, because a lot of us are still playing the catch-up game in educating people as to why it's good to work with a broker. And it really has been great, and we've been successful at that, and I'm very proud of that.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, if you dive into that, number one, not only are you saying, okay, yes, there was a stigma at the time that you decided to become a broker, but not only did you say, I know that the option of working with a broker is better, not only do you go in with that, now you're also showing an abundant mindset where you're saying, oh, some other people are coming into my market. You're not running scared going, oh my goodness, there's two other brokers in my local market. You're extending a hand. You're saying, guys, collectively, we need to educate the consumers. We need to work with our realtors. We need to make sure that our presence is known. Everyone knows brokers are better and that these are the best options for our families. That's fantastic, Elena. I love it. Okay, Barb, what skill sets do you feel you should absolutely have to be a successful broker? So, if you're looking to make that change or you're diving in, what do you think those important skill sets are?
Well, I think the most important skill set for any of us in anything we decide to do, but especially if you decide to go out and be your own broker, is your mindset, right? You first got to believe that you have the ability to do it, and you do. Even if you don't have the immediate skill set right here ready to hand, look, Elena's reaching out to other brokers. We've got the Women's Mortgage Network. We've got AIME. We've got all of us in there who are broker owners as well. There's a wealth of resources. So even if you don't contain the actual physical skill or knowledge right in your body, somebody that's a phone call or an email away does. So first you've got to be in that mindset. I was thinking about it this morning, Laura, and I picked up this cute little thing, right? So keep your mindset is everything, right? Keep your shark hat on even when you're not feeling like one, because there's somebody out there that you can reach out to who can assist you and help you. So being in the mindset of, having a strong passion. I think Angie and Elena, what you've spoken about so far is a resonating theme for all of us, as we all know that it's a better solution for the consumer. We all know that. And if that's how you see it, then that passion will drive you to figure out the other things you need to know to be a broker owner if you're committed to caring for your consumers in your local community. But mindset is the most important. And then having a network of support, which I spoke about a little bit as well. And then knowing for sure that change is the only constant we have. It's always going to be changing. You're always going to be upgrading and continuously improving, and the market's going to be shifting, and the big online lenders are going to be doing certain things that we have to respond to and get ahead of. So change is the only constant in all of this. Those are the things I think are most important.
Very good. And Barb, let me ask you, in terms of mindset, listen, we all have those days. We have those days where the negative voice in the back of our mind is a little bit louder than maybe another day, right? What do you do, or what tips or tricks or recommendations have you, utilized to be able to kind of shoo that away when it happens?
I have two things, Laura, that I would pass on. I would encourage each one of you to come up with your own set of incantations. Like, I literally have 3 things that I say. I'm an amazing businesswoman is one of them. So whenever you find yourself, do those 3 times a day. First of all, just run into the restroom, say them to yourself in the mirror, tell yourself that. Yourself doesn't know the difference. It will just believe you. So have a set of incantations that you do. If you also have to get into the skill of noticing those negative voices. They're probably there for most of us fairly often, and just catching them and maybe repeating your incantation, or it's easy to get frustrated and upset in this business as well. It is for me anyway. I'll speak for myself. So just having a quick way to first notice that, but then some sort of practice that you do right then and there so you can shift your mindset, or just reach out to somebody. Hey, I'm having a bad day. I just need to vent. Can you listen? I got to get this off my chest. But have some practice for shifting your mood when you catch yourself going into the negative thoughts, as they will continue to happen.
I think that's great recommendation. And it's interesting that you said that, Barb, because that's literally how I start my day, is with I am statements. It truly does work, because what you said, your mind doesn't know the difference. Whether you're saying something positive or whether you're saying something negative, your mind's believing it, whatever it is that you say. So make it so that it is true, right? I am a phenomenal business owner, right? I am successful. Love it. Thank you so much. Tashara, let's hear, what skill sets do you find that we should have to be a successful broker owner?
So Barb mentioned passion, and I can't agree more. So for me, I'm going to say passion. I feel like you need to have the passion to do the right thing every single day, even when people are not looking. You need to do the right thing for your customer. You need to do the right thing for all your partners. You need to do the right thing for your employees. One last thing I'll say is you need to have passion to be willing to train other people and share your knowledge. When you share your knowledge, because we are the professionals in our industry, when you share your knowledge with other people, they look to you and they trust you. And so it builds your reputation and it builds your brand in the community.
That's wonderful, Tashara. Number one, yes, you do have the passion, and that's what drives us, right? You guys have all said it. The reason why you became broker owners is because you knew being a broker was the best choice for the families that you serve. That's your passion, right? And then sharing the knowledge. It's so interesting that, especially giving the kudos to AIME. Once AIME came about and you started seeing this collaboration of everyone winning and sharing knowledge, everyone won. You know, there wasn't anyone that didn't benefit. So that is fantastic. All right, Angie, next question. You have found some success in working with family. What recommendations do you have to our audience of anyone that's thinking of working with their family?
I think the main thing is to train them how you want them trained from the very beginning. Show them the expectations that you have and lead by example. So I believe that any organization is created from the top down. So you can tell who runs the company. You can tell the type of person that runs a company by their employees.
True.
There are certain mortgage lenders, you know, that we work with, that you go, whoever's leading this company, they do a great job, you know, Laura. And there are other mortgage companies that you go, you know, who's leading this company? Is anybody leading this company? So you do have to lead by example. You have to treat people, your clients, how you want your employees to treat clients. You have to respond to clients, answer emails, answer phone calls, let them know the urgency of those things and why it's so important to treat clients with respect. Sorry, Max, honey, I'm. Oh. And that
is a perfect moment. That was perfect.
So, and then just, I have contracts, you know, I have I have one girl that's not a family member, but I treat her as if she was family. We've known her for years, and so she is family to us. But even my son and son-in-law, my sisters, they all sign contracts. They all know what is expected, and we all have a respect for each other. So that passes along to the clients too. Just make sure that when you do work with family, make sure you get along with that family, because that will transfer over to your clients. That will transfer over to people that you deal with. If there is disconnect in your business or in your family, that is going to transfer to your client. And so luckily, you know, my daughter, I only have one daughter, and she's fabulous, and she works for me as my processor, and we all get along great. And my daughter is just as sweet and kind as anybody out there. So that clients love her. They love, and sometimes they call her instead of calling me, because she's just so sweet and kind, and it comes through. It comes through in the conversations she has with them. It comes through in the emails that she sends them. And so it can be a really great blessing and a really great thing, but you do have to lead by example and let them know what you expect from them when they come to work for you.
I think that's great, because you do have to have a plan, have it detailed out, have it lead by example. And then, of course, when it works, there's no better care, right? I mean, that care and sense of importance and passion and will absolutely come through all of them. So that's great. And we wish you all the best with continuing on that path. Okay, so Tashara, last week we were having a conversation and you said to me, you know, Laura, there is no book that I can go and pick up that gives me the kind of the step-by-step of going from working for someone to becoming a broker owner. So if I was going to ask you, what was that one thing that you knew before you launched your company, what would it be?
Well, first of all, I would have hired somebody a lot sooner than what I did. I was afraid to hire somebody. I was afraid to be an employer. But now that I have a few girls with me, I mean, it's the best decision I ever made. I mean, I don't know where I would be without them. So the one thing I think I wish I would have known back then is if you treat your employees like family, they're going to bend over backwards and go to the moon for you. They just really will. I mean, you treat them like family, they're going to treat your company like their own company, and they're going to want you to succeed. So that's the one thing I wish I would have known back then.
So what were you afraid of? What were you afraid of in terms of why you didn't want to hire someone? What was that fear?
I think my fear was, first of all, you know, being a one-man shop, I was scared I wasn't going to be able to afford it. I was scared that with market conditions, like what if we got slow? Like how was I going to afford it? I just had to learn that, you know, I trust myself and I know I'm going to survive no matter what. So that's why I say I wish I would have done it a lot sooner, because it just really worked out for me and it allowed me to grow my business, you know, 3 times the amount that I was doing before. So can't be scared.
I think that's great. And I actually want to open it up to any of the ladies, okay? Because I think we all suffer from this too. Well, what if the market turns? What if I can't, you know, continue to pay these team members? What do you guys recommend? Like, let whoever wants to answer it. I'm curious what your advice would be, because I think that is something we're all nervous about.
I'll answer. I know when I first started my brokerage, I was nervous, just the fact that everything was on my shoulders now, all the compliance, all the reports, and I thought, how will I ever do this? And I think that once you decide to do something, your mind goes to work on how to make it happen. And so it was just me, my daughter is my processor, and my son-in-law who was training to be a new LO. So I was a new broker, training a new loan officer, training a processor, and it was a bit overwhelming, but your mind goes to work and things fall into place. And then I got so busy, I thought I really need an assistant. And I thought, well, what if I can't afford to continue to pay her? Well, I just thought I just got to do it. So she comes to work with me and my business grows exponentially. And I go, why didn't I do that before? So now we have, you know, 3 new loan officers, and I go, can I afford to hire somebody else? But then I go back, okay, every time I've said that, once I make my mind up to do it, the universe comes together and the things happen for me. So you just need to set your mind that it's going to happen and things will happen.
All right, Barb, wrapping back around to the same question. What was that one thing you wish you knew when you started out?
One thing, I wish I would have had more guidance in how to structure operations. So I went from retail lending, where there was an HR department and a compliance department and a marketing department. So I wish I had known more about, and I think that's changed since I came in, like what AIME has done, what Women's Network has done. There are a lot more resources now, strategic compliance partners, et cetera. There are a lot more resources now. But I had all those departments to lean on previously, and I hadn't given that much thought to coming into the broker channel, is setting up those pieces so we had good support system around being able to produce. And this conversation about hiring as well, this is one that I think we all think about, and then we hire, and then things go better, and then we say to ourselves, why didn't we do that before? And so I think that's a really important one too. But really just having those different pieces of the brokerage that you're now responsible for, where you weren't before somebody else was responsible for that, and getting all those pieces in place so that you can focus on production and taking care of and serving your clients.
I think that's great. And you are right. There are so many resources available. So I guess the biggest recommendation is look at those resources, ask your questions, because there's never a silly question out there. Don't be afraid to do that. And to piggyback a little bit off what Angie just said, have belief in yourself, right? Have the confidence in yourself. Okay, so Elena, you had mentioned that, I know you were at the Broker Success Summit, I guess a week ago or so, and you had mentioned that when Barry Habib was speaking about something on MBS Highway, you learned something. And once again, I think we just were caught up in our businesses. We're doing our day-to-day. We're taking care of everything. And sometimes we don't even realize that there's tips and tricks and tools and things that we could be doing for our businesses and for ourselves, that sometimes it just becomes overwhelming of how do you keep learning those things. So Elena, what do you recommend that people do to make sure that we are maximizing the tools we have, looking for new tools, and remaining efficient within our businesses?
I think the main thing to notice for you, to notice for yourself is, that things start from the bottom and work their way down. So you can't purchase any of these tech stacks and tech tools and not use them and then expect your team to pick up on them. You have to be the leader and go in and figure out how they work and implement them in your everyday business. And a big takeaway that I took from Barry at the Success Summit was to remember to keep working on your business, not in your business, because we're all so easily pulled away from the fires that come up every day. And you have to remember, you were drawn to this business because you work well under pressure. You must work well with your back against the wall. Would you all agree? Right? So if you're that kind of person, then you have to remember to, with your back against the wall and all these fires in front of you, take some time and look at these tools. I've been subscribed to MBS Highway for probably 12 months, and I learned more in that. I think it was about an hour presentation that he went over, just because I'd never taken the time to go into the tool, log into MBS Highway, and figure out how all these tools can help me. And I was mind blown. I left there feeling so motivated because I thought, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to carve out more time to look at all of my tech stack. One great example was a recoupment calculator. I know a lot of us have buyers that are concerned about paying over ask on purchases. And we have to set ourselves apart right now. Otherwise, things can go downhill as far as refinances, right? So you have to set yourself up to be a successful purchase originator. So you have to be different so that you have the gold and everybody wants you. So I would definitely suggest looking into, if you have MBS Highway, look into that tool, because even though it's something that you can calculate yourself, it does present things in a very professional, good-looking manner that you can show to the buyer and to your agents that are working with you. And it's just a simple calculation of, okay, if you're going to overpay by X, what is our appreciation rate in our market, right? And so how fast are you going to make that money back? And it's usually 3 to 5 months. And then, in the next 6 months, how much money are they going to make in appreciation? And it's a substantial amount of money, and it takes the fear out of the stigma that most buyers are feeling about overpaying a little bit right now. And then also it continues to show them how the market is going to look in the future, because a lot of people are concerned about a bubble, right? And it's just not going to happen. We went over so much and learned so much about the population coming into play and the millennials and the age of the buyers right now. And really, we don't have a buyer shortage. You guys all know that. We have a lumber shortage. So there's just a lot to go. And if you take the time to, again, work on your business by learning all of these things, you are going to have the gold and everybody's going to want you. So just take that time, step away and bring it to your team. And then it's just going to trickle down in a wonderful, exciting way. I left there on cloud 9. I'm telling you, dive in. We all need the rejuvenation. You will be so happy you did it.
That is fantastic. And what great insights. I mean, number one, you started with, being shown one tool, which that tool is extremely valuable because you are the expert, right? Providing expertise to this family that you're communicating with and consulting with and guiding, right? So right there, and that's just one tool. That's just one. I mean, you're correct. We all need to work on our business instead of in our business. And it does start at the top and then go down from there. If people know that we're embracing the technology and these tools and can explain it to the team, they're going to actually utilize them. So Barb, let me ask you this question. How do you get into the mindset of working on the business instead of in the business? Because that's a tricky, right? I mean, we've all been there. We've all been in the fires. We've all been in the, well, I have to take care of this at this moment. How do you get into that?
Well, I've always participated in some sort of coaching. So having an accountability partner to have me working on certain things where I have, assignments to be working on, that would be my first recommendation. Aside from that, if that's not an option for you right now, time blocking. I mean, again, there are so many resources. There's the Broker to Broker podcasts. There are these sessions that we're doing here with you. So really time blocking and making it a non-negotiable that you have a certain amount of time every week where, and just lay out some topics you want to work on. Like I jotted this down from Elena. I didn't know there was a recoupment tool in MBS, and I've had it longer than 12 months. So setting aside non-negotiable time in your calendar, even if you have to do it on the weekend so you're not in the middle of the daily fires that happen for all of us, setting aside that time and making sure that you dedicate that time to developing and growing yourself. Also just having a plan, right? A 5-year plan, a 1-year plan. Here's what we're going to accomplish this quarter, this 6 months, this year, set manageable timeframes. And then the other thing you have to do on those is measure them, because if you don't measure them, they are likely to not get done. So carve out that time, get a coach, carve out that time, make sure you're investing in you and in your business and improving your skill.
And celebrate those wins, Barb.
Yes.
Make sure you celebrate the small wins, because sometimes we're putting all these goals out there in this year and next year and 5 years and all that, but we forget that every day we have wins. So take those moments to celebrate those wins. All right, Tashara, I'm giving you a toughie question, a different than I normally go to, but I actually think you might even been on the call that I heard this question come up a couple weeks ago. We were on a call, and someone was speaking about women and being very successful in the mortgage industry. And a particular person asked the question of, how do you deal with seeing all this success from some people? Are they just wrong in feeling a little bit of jealousy or feeling a little uncomfortable where they don't want to celebrate that person's success?
Well, first of all, I think jealousy.
How do you handle that?
Well, I think jealousy comes from, I've felt it a million times in my own personal life. I think jealousy comes from seeing what somebody else has and not thinking that you can obtain the same things. And I honestly think that it's okay to be jealous, because for me, that lights a fire under me to look at what that person has that I want. And instead of being jealous about it, how do I align myself with that person so that way I can learn from them and see what it is that they're doing that's catapulting them to the next level that I want to be at. And so once I've identified that, I try to align myself with like-minded people, to get myself to that position. So I think jealousy is a good competition, not just competition, but, it allows you to see things in other people that you like. And as long as you take that jealousy and you align yourself with those people and learn to see what it is that they're doing, and you use that in your own professional or personal life, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it makes us better people if we use it the right way.
That is awesome. And I know, Elena, you had said something when I brought this question up. So what do you do?
I love this question because it's something that we don't talk about. And if you're a mortgage broker, you are competitive. End of story. Again, it's back to that personality type where we work better with our back against the wall and we're competitive. But that means, of course, you're going to have those jealous feelings. So you need to give yourself a specific strategy. And I have one. Every time I feel jealous or I feel that little twinge of that person might be doing better than me, or that person has something that I want, find yourself a strategy. Mine is go find another woman and help her. And it's so simple. We are surrounded by women every single day. If you don't have a woman physically in your office with you, like I'm lucky enough to have, to go help and go talk to and encourage and help grow, then go find someone in our group and just log in that day and say, hey, I'm having a moment. Can I talk to someone who might need some help? Anything I can help you with, just offer it up. And you'll see 20 comments and you'll probably get 20 messages. Give yourself some kind of strategy in that way. And then it's going to flip the switch for you, because we all have feelings that we know may not be appropriate, but it's so great to talk about it. And I'm so happy that you asked that question. And if you can find your own strategy to help other people and flip that, it's going to think about how many people we could help by just talking about this already. I can feel hundreds in the down trickle of this. So I love that.
Yeah, I think it's a way of us showing how far we have come. Because I will tell you, in the over 20 years I've been in the mortgage industry, that is certainly not a question I would have ever asked. But yet I am confident now in 2021, especially in the AIME Women's Mortgage Network, that it's okay for us to speak about this. And that I love that. All right, ladies, you have been incredible. I want to wrap it up with that one final piece of advice that you would like to share to the women out there. All right, I'm going down the list from top to bottom on my screen. So Elena, what's your one piece of advice?
Be prepared to hire legal help. With success, always comes some kind of legal question or issue, and that's okay. It's a true sign of success. So I always suggest finding an attorney in your local area that you can confer with and put them on retainer. Give some money upfront to them so that you can email them and they can deduct money from that as you go. And that way you already have that relationship in place and you don't feel as stressed out or like you're losing sleep when any major legal question that you have comes up, because you're going to run into it and you want to put yourself in a better position to remove the stress from your life.
Barb.
I think I'm going to stay with this mindset thing and just to remind people, if you're going to do something like this, it's not everybody does it, right? Everybody has what's inside of them to do it, but not everybody does. They have their fears and their doubts and it takes over and they stay small, and that's okay. But if you're going to do this, there are going to be days when you have your fears and your doubts. And so this group is here for support. You can call me. I have those days too. We're doing pretty great and we've got big plans and exciting things going on, but you can call me. Like, we all have those days where we just need a reset on our mindset and we need somebody to tell us it's going to be okay and we're going to be able to do it. But first you have to believe that and hear and know that it's true. And if you have that, that will pull you through every hard day you have. And if you're having a day where you can't pull yourself through, there are so many people out here who you can just touch base with and reach out to and hear their stories, because we don't always share the stories of the days that were difficult. I always tell my kids, like, when something goes on in the family and some trip goes awry or something unusual happens, those are the stories we tell. Those are the things people want to hear from us. They don't want to hear when it was perfect and everything went well. They want to hear when you had a tough time and how did you get through? How did you do it? So I'm just going to stick with the mindset conversation and remind everybody that there's a wealth of information out here. Don't think you have to figure it out on your own. Don't make that mistake. Reach out, connect, use the resources. You'll grow exponentially faster if you do that. And go out there and kick butt.
You got this. Okay, Angie.
My advice is to work or focus on your strengths and not what you think your strengths should be. So I would say the majority of people, realtors and brokers in this industry, are very aggressive, louder, more forcefully driven. Where I am more of a soft-spoken, silently assertive, driven, but I'm not very loud. And I've had realtors tell me that you need to be meaner. You shouldn't be so nice. You're not as aggressive as you need to be. But I have found that's not who I am. I tried to be aggressive. I tried to be more outspoken, and it just drained me. It got to a point where this business was not enjoyable. And I went, the people like me for me. They like me because I'm kind. They like me because I listen. They like me because I don't get angry. And I had an account rep tell me one time, Angie, I can call you and tell you the worst news and you thank me for it. But that same account rep will have my back when I need him to have my back, because he knows that I'm not yelling, or I should say, I don't really yell. He knows I'm not upset unless there's a reason to be upset. And so I find that, for the longest time, I thought, well, maybe I do need to be more like this realtor or more like that loan officer. And I found that my strengths serve me. And it's okay for me to be a kinder, softer spoken broker in this more aggressive, driven industry. And it works for me. It works for me. And so just be true to yourself and work on your strengths, and don't try to be something you're not, because that will exhaust you and make the industry no longer fun. But if you do what you love to do and you treat most of these brokers treat people kind. They're just more aggressive than I am. And it's just not in my nature to be that way. And so once I realized that my strengths do serve me, and they do serve my company, and they do serve my clients, it's become a lot more enjoyable.
Just be you. You are 100% correct, Angie. We all have our own strengths and gifts to share with the world. And when we lean into those, that's when everything is right. Don't ever try to let anyone else ever make you into what you think you should be. Because when you're your authentic self, everyone knows it, everyone feels it, everyone trusts it, and it's part of your success. Be you, Angie. You're awesome. All right, Tashara, bring us home, lady. Tell us.
So mine's really simple. Mine is, you don't have to have it all figured out in order to move forward. All you have to do is just be willing to take the next step. And what that means for me is, I'm one of those people, I'm a perfectionist. I feel like I need to have everything laid out, and I need to, have everything perfectly. And, I've just learned, by being a business owner, that that's never going to happen. So if you allow yourself to be stuck in that scenario where you have to have everything laid out and perfect before you do anything, you're never going to move anywhere. So my biggest advice is just know nothing's ever going to be perfect. But, in this business, we're constantly revamping ourselves. We're constantly improving ourselves. So if you don't know it right now, just make it just make it a point to learn it. You don't have to know it right now. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Have a plan in place, always have goals, try to, celebrate the wins like Laura says. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I can give.
Awesome. Oh, you ladies are incredible. Great advice. We obviously can see why you're all successful. We wish you all the best. And to everyone out there, thank you so much for joining us once again for the Women's Mortgage Network Growth Series. Continue to be awesome. Take care, everyone.